She let him sit at her table in a crowded cafe. She had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. It was a typical busy afternoon in downtown New York City. The cafe was filled with the usual chatter of people meeting for lunch, the clinking of cups, and the hum of casual conversations. Emma Brooks sat alone at a small table, her second-hand dress slightly wrinkled, and her scuffed shoes barely noticeable amidst the chaos of the bustling cafe. She wasn't used to places like this, but she had promised her best friend Jenny that she would at least try this blind date, even if it was at a fancy cafe she couldn't really afford. Her nerves were on edge as she scanned the crowd. Her eyes darted from table to table, trying to find the man she was supposed to meet. She wasn't sure what to expect. She had heard little about him except his name, Kevin. Just as she was beginning to feel like she might be stood up, she saw him sitting alone at a table in the corner. He had dark hair, neatly combed, and wore a well-fitted suit that seemed a bit out of place for a casual lunch. He was engrossed in his phone, barely noticing her approach. Taking a deep breath, Emma walked toward him. "Hi, you must be Kevin," she said with a smile, trying to sound confident despite her nervousness. The man looked up, his expression briefly one of confusion, as if he had been caught off guard. "Oh, hi, Emma," he replied, his voice a little hesitant. Emma, misreading his surprise as shyness, slid into the seat across from him. "I know this is awkward," she said, trying to fill the silence. "Blind dates are weird, right? Jenny told me you might be a little quiet, so don't worry. I can talk enough for both of us." The man, whose name was actually Liam, hesitated for a moment. He had planned on explaining that she was sitting at the wrong table, but something about Emma's genuine smile made him pause. He decided to play along. "Yeah," he said, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Blind dates are something else." They settled into an easy conversation. Emma shared a little about her life, how she worked as a waitress at a local diner, how she dreamed of one day opening her own art studio, and how she was just trying to make ends meet. Liam, though not sharing much about himself, listened intently. There was something refreshingly honest about Emma. She didn't have the polished veneer of the women he usually met, and for some reason, he found it endearing. The conversation flowed effortlessly, and for the first time in a long while, Liam actually felt at ease. As they chatted, Emma noticed how kind and patient he seemed. He didn't rush her or make her feel self-conscious. He was simply present, and she appreciated that more than she realized. But when her phone buzzed, everything changed. She glanced down and saw a text message from Jenny. "Hey Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7 looking forward to meeting you, Kevin." Her heart sank as she realized her mistake. She had been talking to the wrong person all along. "Oh my God," she muttered, her face turning red with embarrassment. She looked up at Liam, who had a sheepish look on his face. "You're not Kevin, are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam's smile faltered, but instead of being upset, he laughed lightly. "No, I'm not," he admitted. Emma, mortified, stood up quickly, grabbing her bag. "I'm so sorry," she said, her face burning. "I've completely messed this up." Liam stood too, his expression softening. "It's okay," he said, trying to ease her discomfort. "Really?" But Emma was already heading for the door, her heart pounding with embarrassment. She had no idea that her simple mistake would lead to something far more unexpected. Asterisk, asterisk. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. After the embarrassing mix-up at the cafe, Emma couldn't shake the feeling of regret. She had tried to forget the awkward moment as she rushed home. her cheeks still flushed from the encounter. The truth was, she had felt a strange connection with the man she had mistakenly talked to. Even though she thought he was someone else, the kindness in his eyes had disarmed her. Later that night, as she sat on her bed staring at her phone, she couldn't stop thinking about him. But there was no way to know how to find him again. She had no idea where to start. It seemed like the universe was just playing a cruel joke on her, and she let out a frustrated sigh as she set her phone down. But fate had other plans. The next day, while she was working at the diner, a familiar face appeared at the door. It was Liam, the man she had mistaken for Kevin. He was dressed casually today, his dark hair still perfectly in place, but he looked less like the corporate type and more like someone enjoying a day off. Emma froze for a second, unsure of what to do. The last time she had seen him, she had fled in embarrassment. But Liam, with his warm smile, waved as he approached. "Hey, Emma," he said, his voice calm and friendly. "I was hoping I could grab a seat here." She blinked in surprise, momentarily speechless. You remembered me?" she asked, feeling her heart race. Liam smiled, pulling out a chair and sitting down without waiting for a response. "Of course I remembered you. I don't meet many people who are so genuine. I've been thinking about our conversation, and I wanted to apologize for not correcting you sooner. I wasn't sure if you were ready to know the truth, but now that I see you again, I figured it was a good time." Emma's heart skipped a beat as she sat down across from him, still unsure of how to react. I didn't mean to embarrass you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never thought you would be someone important." Liam chuckled softly, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "No harm done," he reassured her. "I don't mind. It was a nice break from the usual, but I guess I should introduce myself properly. I'm Liam Parker, CEO of Infinity Tech. You probably won't believe me, but I came here today to see what the world outside of my usual circle looks like. And something about you made me want to step outside my comfort zone." Emma blinked, her mouth going dry. She had thought he was just another businessman, but now he was revealing his true identity, and it was like everything she thought she knew had been turned upside down. "You're a CEO?" she stammered. "I had no idea." Liam smiled again, the warmth of his gaze easing her discomfort. "That's the point," he said, leaning back in his chair. "I wanted to see if people would treat me the same way if they didn't know who I was." Emma couldn't believe it. Here she was, sitting across from a millionaire, and all she could think about was how incredibly awkward the situation was. But despite the surprise, there was something about Liam's presence that felt comforting. "I never expected to meet someone like you," she said softly, her eyes meeting his. "And I certainly never thought I would be talking to the CEO of a major company." "Well, maybe that's part of the charm," Liam replied. "I wanted to talk to someone real, someone who doesn't know me for my money or status. And you're definitely real, Emma." As the conversation continued, Emma couldn't help but feel a strange sense of connection with him. Despite their different worlds, they had found common ground in the most unexpected way. It was clear that there was more to Liam than just his wealth, and for the first time in a long time, Emma felt like someone truly understood her. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. After Liam revealed his true identity as a CEO, Emma found herself in a whirlwind of emotions. She was still processing the shock of it all, but there was something else she couldn't deny, a connection she couldn't ignore. Over the next few days, Emma tried to focus on her routine, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Liam. It wasn't just his wealth that had intrigued her, but the genuine kindness he had shown. Unlike many of the people she met, Liam seemed different. He didn't treat her as someone inferior. In fact, he seemed to be fascinated by her straightforwardness, a quality she hadn't realized she valued so much. It wasn't long before Liam reached out again, this time with an invitation to lunch. Emma felt a mix of hesitation and excitement. She wasn't sure if it was a good idea to get involved with someone like him, someone so far removed from her world, but something deep inside told her this could be a turning point in her life. She agreed. And they met at a quiet cafe near the outskirts of town, far from the busy city streets where they had first met. As soon as she arrived, she saw Liam sitting at a table by the window, looking every bit the successful businessman. But there was a softness in his expression that made him seem approachable. He stood up as she approached, his eyes lighting up when he saw her. "I'm glad you could make it," he said, offering a warm smile. Emma returned the smile, though her nerves were still there. "Of course, I wouldn't miss it," she replied. They sat down, and as they began to talk, Emma couldn't help but notice the stark difference in their lives. Liam was well-traveled, had built a successful company from the ground up, and was a single father raising his son alone. Emma, on the other hand, had spent most of her life scraping by, juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet. But despite their differences, they found comfort in each other's company. They shared stories of their pasts, and Emma listened intently as Liam spoke about his son, Noah. It was clear that he loved him deeply, and Emma could see the vulnerability beneath his confident exterior. "I never expected to meet someone like you," Emma said after a while. "Someone who's not just about the business world or the money." Liam smiled softly. "I get that a lot," he said. "But I think it's easy to forget what really matters when you're caught up in the hustle." He paused, his gaze steady as he looked at her. "I want to help people, Emma. Not just with my company, but on a personal level. And I think you have the kind of heart that could help me with that." Emma blinked, not sure she understood him completely. "What do you mean?" she asked. Liam leaned forward, his tone more serious. "I want to make a difference. I've been thinking about starting a charity for underprivileged children, and I think you would be the perfect person to help me run it." Emma was taken aback. She had always dreamed of helping others, especially children who grew up in difficult circumstances, but she had never thought someone like Liam would even consider her for such an opportunity. "But I'm just a waitress," she said, shaking her head in disbelief. "I don't have the experience you're looking for." Liam smiled again, reassuring her. "It's not about experience, Emma. It's about heart. You have a genuine passion for helping people, and that's what matters most to me." Emma sat back in her chair, processing his words. She had never imagined that her life would take such a turn. Here she was, sitting across from a millionaire, being offered an opportunity she could only dream of. It felt unreal, but deep down, she knew this could be the chance she had been waiting for. The lunch continued, and they spoke more about the charity, about the future, and about life in general. Emma left that day feeling more hopeful than she had in a long time. She had no idea where this new path would take her, but she knew one thing for sure: her world was changing, and she was ready to embrace it. She let him sit at her table in a crowded cafe. She had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. The next few weeks felt like a whirlwind for Emma. After that lunch with Liam, her life began to change in ways she never imagined. The opportunity to help with his charity had ignited something in her, something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. She threw herself into the project with everything she had. She helped Liam set up meetings with other influential people in the city, and she quickly realized how much she enjoyed the work. But despite the excitement and the sense of purpose, Emma couldn't help but feel a growing tension. She found herself spending more time with Liam, and every moment they shared made her more aware of the connection between them. Liam was unlike anyone she had ever met. He was kind, generous, and treated her with respect. But there was also a part of her that was hesitant. She still wasn't entirely sure how to navigate the world he lived in, the world of power, wealth, and influence. One evening, after another successful event for the charity, Liam invited Emma to dinner. They had spent the day working together on finalizing plans for a new program that would help children in need. The evening air was cool, and the city lights sparkled as they walked into a small, quiet restaurant away from the hustle and bustle. Emma was nervous, but she didn't want to show it. She wasn't sure if this dinner was just another business meeting or something more. They sat down at a corner table, and Liam smiled at her as he poured them both a glass of wine. "I wanted to take you somewhere nice, to thank you for everything you've done," he said, his voice sincere. "I couldn't have done it without you." Emma smiled, trying to hide her nerves. "I'm just doing my part," she replied. "But I'm glad I could help." The conversation flowed easily between them, as it always did. They talked about their goals, their dreams, and their pasts. Liam shared more about his son, Noah, and how challenging it had been to raise him on his own after his wife had passed away. Emma listened intently, understanding the pain and the love behind his words. But as the night went on, she began to feel a subtle shift in the air. Liam seemed more relaxed than usual. His usual composed demeanor softening into something more personal, more intimate. "I've been thinking a lot about you, Emma," Liam said after a long pause. Emma's heart skipped a beat, and she looked up from her glass of wine, meeting his gaze. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I mean, I've been thinking about how much you've changed my life," Liam continued. "I never thought I would meet someone like you, someone who isn't afraid to be real. I want to get to know you more, outside of the charity, outside of the work. I think there's something here between us." Emma felt a wave of emotions rush over her. She had been so focused on the charity and the opportunity that she hadn't allowed herself to think about the connection they shared. But now, hearing Liam's words, it felt like the dam had broken. She realized she had been falling for him all along, but the fear of complicating everything held her back. "Liam," Emma began, her voice trembling slightly. "I don't know what to say. I didn't expect this to happen. I'm not sure if I can be a part of your world." Liam reached across the table and took her hand in his touch warm and reassuring. "You don't have to be part of my world to be with me, Emma. I want you to be yourself. That's all I've ever wanted. I don't need someone to fit into my world. I need someone who makes me feel like I'm finally living in the real world." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She had never felt so understood, so accepted. She had always been the one to hold herself back, to doubt if she was good enough. But with Liam, she felt like maybe, just maybe, she was worthy of something more. The evening continued with more heartfelt conversation, but as they finished their meal, Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of hope bubbling up inside her. She had never been so unsure of the future, but for the first time in a long while, she felt like the future might hold something worth fighting for. Asterisk asterisk. She let him sit at her table in a crowded cafe. She had no idea. He was a millionaire single father. Asterisk. Asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. After their heartfelt dinner, Emma and Liam found themselves slipping into an easy routine, spending more time together than either had initially anticipated. Despite Emma's initial hesitations, she couldn't deny the growing attraction she felt for Liam. His kindness, generosity, and the way he respected her had started to break down the walls she had built over the years. But there was still one thing: she couldn't ignore the fear of what being with someone like him might mean for her. Liam, on the other hand, was more determined than ever to build a life with her. He had grown fond of Emma not just because of her beauty, but because of her authenticity and the way she made him feel like he mattered beyond his wealth and status. One afternoon, Emma was helping Liam with some planning for the charity when he turned to her with a serious look in his eyes. "I've been thinking," Liam began, his voice steady but tinged with an intensity Emma hadn't heard before. "I know this might be a little soon, but I feel like we're in a place where we can talk about what's next." Emma felt a flutter of nerves in her stomach. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice betraying the uncertainty she was trying to hide. "I've been thinking about us, Emma," Liam said, leaning in slightly. "I know we come from different worlds, and I know that's something we've both been careful about. But I want you to know that I'm serious about this. About you. About us." Emma's heart skipped a beat as she looked at him. She had never imagined she would be in a situation like this. The idea of dating a man who was so different from her in so many ways was both thrilling and terrifying. "I'm not asking you to change your life for me," Liam continued, "but I want you to be a part of mine. I want to see where this could go. If you're willing, I want to build a future together." Emma took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. She had never been good at opening up to people, especially when it came to relationships, but something about Liam made her feel like it was worth the risk. "I don't know what the future holds," she said quietly, her eyes locking with his. "But I know that I've never felt like this before. I've never felt like someone understood me the way you do." Liam smiled warmly, reaching across the table to take her hand in his. "That's all I need to know," he said, squeezing her hand gently. "We'll figure it out together." But just as Emma was starting to feel like maybe, just maybe, they could make it work, life threw them a curveball. A few days later, Liam's assistant called to inform him that there had been some tension at a high-level meeting regarding his charity's future plans. Liam had always been a man of action, but the pressure of running a multi-million-dollar company and a charity was beginning to weigh on him. He knew that he couldn't keep both things running smoothly without making sacrifices. "I have to go," Liam said abruptly as he stood up from the table, his expression suddenly tense. "There's an emergency at the office, and I have to handle it." Emma watched him, her heart sinking as she realized how much of his life was consumed by his work. "Liam, wait," she called, standing up to follow him. "You don't have to do everything on your own. I'm here for you, you know that, right?" Liam paused at the door, his hand resting on the doorknob. "I know you're here for me, Emma," he said, his voice low, almost apologetic. "But sometimes I feel like I'm failing at everything. I want this to work between us. I really do. But I don't know if I can keep up with all the demands of my life." Emma stepped forward, her heart aching for him. She could see the stress in his eyes, the burden of trying to be everything to everyone. "You don't have to be perfect," she said softly. "I just want you to be you, the man who made me believe in something better. That's enough." Liam's gaze softened, and for a moment it felt like the weight of the world had lifted from his shoulders. He walked back over to Emma and pulled her into a hug. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice filled with gratitude. "I don't know what I'd do without you." As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, Emma realized that maybe love wasn't about having everything figured out. Maybe it was about being there for each other, no matter what life threw their way. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea. He was a millionaire single father. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. As the days passed, Emma and Liam's relationship continued to deepen, but life wasn't about to make things easy for them. Liam's business had grown more complicated, and his charity work was demanding more of his time than he had expected. Yet despite the challenges, their connection remained strong. Liam was trying his best to balance everything, but there were moments when he couldn't keep up, and Emma could see it in his eyes. She knew he wasn't perfect, but that didn't matter to her. What mattered was the way he made her feel valued, cared for, and understood. One evening, after a particularly stressful week, Liam invited Emma over to his apartment for dinner. He told her it would be a low-key evening, just the two of them, and she could tell from his tone that he needed a break from everything. Emma arrived at his place, her heart racing a little, unsure of what to expect. Liam's apartment was as impressive as she had imagined, spacious, elegant, and filled with artwork from around the world. It wasn't the type of place she was used to, but somehow, it felt warm when she was with him. He greeted her at the door with a soft smile, his usual business attire replaced by a casual shirt and jeans. "Hey, I'm glad you're here," he said, stepping aside to let her in. "I wasn't sure I could do this alone tonight," Emma smiled, a small laugh escaping her lips. "I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." As they sat down for dinner, the conversation shifted from the usual small talk to something deeper. Liam began to open up about his fears and insecurities, about the pressure of being the CEO, about raising his son on his own, and about his growing feelings for Emma. "I never expected to meet someone like you," he said, his voice low. "Someone who could make me feel like I'm not just a businessman or a millionaire, but someone who matters for who I am inside. You've made me feel things I didn't think I could feel anymore." Emma's heart swelled at his words. She had always known that Liam was more than just his wealth, but hearing him speak so openly about his vulnerabilities made her realize just how much he trusted her. "You've changed my life too, Liam," she said softly, looking him in the eye. "I've never met anyone who understands me the way you do. I've spent so much time trying to keep everything together, but with you, I feel like it's okay to let go sometimes." They shared a quiet moment, the weight of the world outside their little bubble seeming to fade away. But the peaceful moment was fleeting. The next morning, Liam received a call that would shake things up. His company was facing a serious financial setback. An issue with one of their major investors had put a huge strain on the charity and the business. He ended the call, running his hands through his hair in frustration. "What's wrong?" Emma asked, noticing the tension in his face. "We've got a problem," Liam said, his voice tight. "One of our biggest investors is pulling out, and if we can't fix it, we're going to lose everything. The charity, my business, everything." Emma felt a lump form in her throat. She had never seen Liam so rattled. The strong, composed man she had come to know was now visibly shaken. "We'll figure this out," she said, trying to reassure him, even though she wasn't sure how they could. "You don't have to do this alone, Liam." He looked at her, his eyes filled with gratitude, but there was a sadness there too. "I don't want to drag you into my mess," he said. "You've done so much for me already." Emma reached out, taking his hand in hers. "You didn't drag me into anything," she said firmly. "We're in this together. Whatever happens, we'll face it as a team." Liam stared at her for a moment, as if weighing her words. Then, slowly, a small, grateful smile appeared on his face. "Thank you, Emma. You don't know how much that means to me." But as the days went by, the situation only seemed to get worse. The pressure mounted, and it became clear that the future of Liam's business and his charity was hanging by a thread. Emma could see the toll it was taking on him, but she also knew that no matter how dark things seemed, they had each other. And together, they would face whatever came next. Asterisk. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. As the days went by, Emma and Liam tried to keep their focus on the charity, but the stress from Liam's business troubles continued to grow. The looming financial crisis with his major investor threatened to undo everything they had worked so hard for, and Liam was feeling the weight of it all. Yet, despite the pressure, he found solace in his time with Emma. Her unwavering support and belief in him made him feel like he wasn't completely alone in this fight. But as the situation continued to deteriorate, the inevitable happened. Liam was forced to face the reality that the business might not survive. One evening, as they sat in the living room of Liam's apartment, Emma noticed the exhaustion in his eyes. He had been working non-stop, trying to salvage what he could of the situation. "Liam, you need to take a break," Emma said gently, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You can't do this alone. Let me help." Liam let out a long sigh and looked at her, his shoulders slumping in defeat. "I don't know what else to do, Emma," he confessed. "I've tried everything. I've called every investor, every partner, but no one is willing to help. If this doesn't work out, I'll lose everything: my business, my charity, everything." Emma's heart broke for him. She could see the vulnerability in his eyes. The man who had always seemed so strong now standing on the edge of losing everything he had worked for. "You're not alone in this," she said, her voice firm with resolve. "We'll figure this out together. You have me, and you have the charity. We can find another way." Liam looked at her, the weight of his thoughts visible in his eyes. "But what if there is no other way?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if this is the end?" Emma squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Then we start over. We rebuild. You've built this empire from nothing, Liam. You can do it again, and I'll be with you every step of the way." Liam's expression softened, and for the first time in days, he allowed himself a small smile. "Thank you, Emma," he said quietly. "I don't know what I'd do without you." The next day, Liam made the difficult decision to meet with his investors one final time. He knew it was a long shot, but he had to try. He called Emma afterward, his voice filled with a mix of determination and exhaustion. "I'm going in," he said, his words steady but tinged with a sense of finality. "I'm going to give it one last shot." Emma could hear the tension in his voice, and despite her best efforts to stay positive, she felt a wave of worry wash over her. "I'll be right here when you get back," she said softly, trying to reassure him. "Whatever happens, we'll get through it." As the hours passed, Emma found herself anxiously checking her phone, waiting for any sign from Liam. Finally, just as the sun was beginning to set, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Liam. "We did it." Emma's heart skipped a beat as she read the words. She quickly called him back, her pulse racing. "Liam?" she said, her voice filled with hope. "What happened?" "I don't know how, but they agreed to help us," Liam said, his voice a mixture of relief and disbelief. "They're going to invest, and we'll be able to save the business and the charity." "We did it, Emma." Tears filled Emma's eyes as she let out a relieved laugh. "I knew you could do it," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "I knew you would make it work." Liam paused for a moment, then added, "I couldn't have done it without you, Emma. You've been my rock through all of this. I don't think I could have kept going without you by my side." Emma's heart swelled with joy. In that moment, she realized just how much they had overcome together. They weren't just partners in business, they were partners in life. As Liam made his way back to the apartment, Emma could hardly contain her excitement. The future was still uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, she felt confident that they could face anything together. When Liam walked through the door, he was greeted by Emma's warm embrace. "We did it," he whispered, holding her tightly. "We really did it." "Oh, asterisk. She let him sit at her table in a crowded cafe. She had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. After the incredible news that Liam had managed to secure the investment, both he and Emma felt a weight lift off their shoulders. The future was looking brighter than it had in weeks, but as they celebrated the success, they both knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The deal was a lifeline, but it was also the beginning of a new chapter that would require all of their strength and commitment. They spent the following days working tirelessly together to put the new plan into motion. Liam's company was back on track, and the charity was starting to see the fruits of their hard work. Yet, in the midst of this success, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. As Liam juggled the demands of the business and the charity, Emma began to notice the toll it was taking on him. His stress was still palpable, and though he tried to put on a brave face, Emma could see through it. One evening, after another long day of work, Liam sat on the couch in his apartment, staring at his phone in silence. Emma watched him for a moment, her heart aching for him. She had been so focused on helping him, on working together, that she hadn't taken the time to fully understand how much he was still carrying. "Liam," Emma said softly, sitting down next to him, "you've done so much already. You've brought everything back from the brink, but you can't keep carrying it all on your own." Liam looked at her, his tired eyes betraying the exhaustion he was trying to hide. "I don't have a choice, Emma," he replied, his voice strained. "There's too much at stake. If I don't keep going, I lose everything. I can't afford to rest, not now." Emma reached for his hand, gently squeezing it. "You're not alone in this, Liam," she said firmly. "You've built something incredible, but you need to take care of yourself too. You can't pour from an empty cup." Liam looked down at their intertwined hands, the weight of her words sinking in. "I don't know how to slow down," he admitted quietly. "I've been pushing for so long, trying to make everything work, but I'm afraid if I stop for even a second, everything will fall apart." Emma gently cupped his face in her hands, lifting his gaze to meet hers. "You're allowed to rest, Liam. You've already done more than enough. And you don't have to do it all by yourself. We're a team, remember?" Her words seemed to reach him, and for the first time in days, Liam allowed himself to lean into her, taking comfort in her warmth and support. He let out a deep breath, releasing some of the tension that had been building in his chest. "I don't know what I'd do without you, Emma," he said, his voice soft. "You're the only one who's made me believe that it's okay to let go, even just a little." Emma smiled gently, brushing a strand of hair away from his forehead. "That's what I'm here for. To remind you that you're allowed to take a break, that you're more than just the work you do. You're Liam, and that's enough." In the days that followed, Liam began to take small steps to prioritize his well-being. He made time to spend with Emma, allowing himself moments of peace and joy away from the pressures of his business. And though the challenges didn't disappear, he began to feel like he wasn't facing them alone. The charity continued to thrive, and the business slowly regained its momentum. But it was clear that this new chapter wasn't just about financial success, it was about finding balance and learning to embrace the support of those who cared about him. Liam and Emma's bond grew stronger as they navigated this new phase of their lives. They were no longer just partners in business. They were partners in life, facing the ups and downs together. And as they looked ahead to the future, they knew that no matter what came their way, they would face it hand in hand. Asterisk, asterisk, she let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Life had begun to settle into a new rhythm for Liam and Emma. They had faced the financial troubles head-on, and while there were still obstacles, the weight of the world didn't feel so heavy anymore. The business was back on track, and the charity was thriving, thanks to their relentless work and teamwork. But the road ahead wasn't without its challenges. Liam, despite finding balance in his personal life, was still haunted by the pressure of being both a businessman and a single father. Noah, his son, had become the center of his world, and the relationship with him was growing stronger. But there was still the constant worry of being a good father while managing a demanding career. Emma noticed the moments when Liam would withdraw, lost in thought, his mind racing with decisions that only he could make. It was during one of these moments, as they were both enjoying a quiet evening at home, that Liam broke the silence. "Emma, I've been thinking," he started, his voice low, "about Noah. I've been trying so hard to balance everything, my work, the charity, our future, but I worry I'm not giving him the attention he deserves." Emma turned to him, concern crossing her face. "Liam, you're an amazing father. Noah is lucky to have you. But I understand, it's hard to balance it all." Liam's gaze softened as he met her eyes. "I know I've been busy with the business, but I'm scared that I'm not there enough for him. I want to be the father he needs. I want him to know that no matter what happens, I'm always there for him." Emma reached over and took his hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "You're doing your best, Liam. Noah sees the love you have for him. But sometimes, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do it all alone." Liam sighed, the weight of his responsibilities pressing down on him. He knew Emma was right, but it was hard for him to let go of the need to control everything. He had spent so many years building his empire, trying to make sure everything was perfect, but now he was faced with a reality where perfection didn't matter as much as presence. "I just want to make sure he's okay," Liam continued, his voice filled with vulnerability. "I want him to feel safe, loved, and supported." Emma smiled gently, her heart going out to him. "He already feels all of those things, Liam, and he will continue to. You're an incredible father. Just remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about being there, showing up, and loving him with all your heart." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. Emma's words had a way of cutting through the noise in his mind, reminding him of what truly mattered. As the evening wore on, they talked more about their plans for the future, the business, and the charity. But it was clear that the most important conversation was the one about family. They knew that the road ahead would still have its bumps, but together, they were ready to face whatever came their way. The next day, Liam made a decision that would change the course of his relationship with Noah. He took a step back from his business obligations, choosing to spend more time with his son. It was a difficult choice, one that involved prioritizing family over work, but he knew it was the right one. He invited Noah to spend the weekend with him, just the two of them, away from the distractions of work. For the first time in a long while, Liam felt a sense of peace. He realized that while his career and charity were important, they didn't define him as a person. What defined him was his love for his son and the people in his life who truly mattered. As Liam and Noah spent the weekend together, bonding over simple joys, Liam felt a deep sense of fulfillment. And as he looked over at Emma, who had been his unwavering support throughout the process, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. With love, with balance, and with the understanding that family was the true measure of success. Asterisk, asterisk. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. As Liam and Emma continued to focus on their new balance between work, family, and each other, life seemed to find a steady rhythm. But just when they thought they had things figured out, another challenge arose. It came in the form of unexpected tensions within the charity. As the organization grew and more people became involved, the complexities of leadership began to strain relationships. Liam had poured his heart into the charity, but now, it seemed like his vision was at odds with others involved in the project. Emma noticed the change in him. His usual calm demeanor was replaced with frustration, and it was taking a toll on their time together. One evening, after another heated meeting with some of the board members, Liam returned home visibly upset. Emma had been preparing dinner, but when she saw him walk through the door, she knew immediately something was wrong. "What happened?" she asked, concern filling her voice. Liam ran a hand through his hair, his expression tired. "There's so much back and forth about the direction of the charity," he said, his voice low. "I've been trying to keep the peace, but it feels like no one is listening. Some of the board members want to change everything we've worked for, and I don't know if I can keep fighting this battle." Emma set the dish she was working on aside and walked over to him, placing a hand on his arm. "You've done more than anyone could ever expect, Liam. You've given everything to the charity, to your work, to Noah. Maybe it's time to take a step back and remember why you started all of this in the first place." Liam looked at her, his eyes filled with frustration. "I can't just walk away from it, Emma. It's too important. It's my legacy." Emma nodded, understanding his commitment. But she also knew that his well-being was just as important. "But if you burn out, what happens to the charity then?" she asked gently. "What happens to Noah, to us?" Liam sighed deeply, the weight of her words sinking in. He had always been someone who pushed himself to the limit, but Emma's perspective made him realize how much he had been neglecting himself and the people closest to him. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice cracking slightly. "I guess I've been so focused on making everything perfect that I forgot to take care of myself. And maybe even the people who matter most to me." Emma took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "Liam, no one expects you to be perfect. We all want you to be happy, to be present. Maybe it's time to hand over some of the reins. Let others step up. You don't have to carry the weight of everything alone." Liam looked at her, seeing the truth in her eyes. He had always been the one in charge, the one who had to make every decision. But perhaps, just perhaps, it was time to let go a little. "You're right," he said, his voice quiet but resolute. "I've been so afraid of losing control, but maybe I've been controlling things for the wrong reasons." Emma smiled softly and wrapped her arms around him. "You're not alone in this, Liam. We're a team. Let's figure this out together, just like we've done with everything else." The next few days, Liam made a decision to step back from the constant battles at the charity. He started delegating more tasks to trusted members of the board and gave them the freedom to make decisions that aligned with the mission. It wasn't easy for him. But as the pressure started to ease, he found a new sense of relief. He was learning to trust others, to let go of some of the control, and to prioritize what truly mattered. For the first time in a long time, he felt a weight lifted from his shoulders. He spent more time with Noah, going on trips to the park, enjoying simple moments that reminded him why he had worked so hard in the first place. As the days passed, he found a new appreciation for the balance in his life. The charity continued to thrive, but it no longer consumed him in the same way. He had learned that success wasn't just about working until exhaustion, it was about living fully, sharing love, and being present. As he sat with Emma one evening, watching the sunset, he realized that he had finally found what he had been searching for: peace. "Thank you, Emma," he said softly, "for helping me see what really matters." Emma smiled, her heart full. "I'm just glad we're in this together." "Oh." Asterisk. She let him sit at her table. In a crowded cafe, she had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. With Liam's decision to finally relinquish some control over his business and charity, things began to shift in a way neither he nor Emma could have anticipated. While Liam was still deeply involved in the charity, the pressure he had been carrying was significantly reduced. For the first time in months, he felt like he could breathe. He no longer had to bear the weight of every decision, and it felt like a huge weight had been lifted off his shoulders. This newfound sense of relief allowed Liam to reconnect with the things that mattered most: his family, Emma, and even himself. Noah, who had always been his primary concern, now saw more of his father, and the bond between them grew even stronger. The weekends that had once been consumed by meetings and work were now filled with trips to the park, afternoons playing board games, and quiet evenings spent watching movies together. Emma noticed the change in him too. She saw how his eyes sparkled when he played with Noah, and how much lighter his heart seemed. She had always admired his dedication, but now she could see that there was more to life than just work and success. Their time together became more meaningful, and they began to create memories that would last a lifetime. One weekend, Liam surprised Emma with a trip to a small town by the beach. It wasn't a lavish getaway, but it was exactly what they both needed: a break from the pressures of their everyday lives. As they walked along the shoreline, the cool ocean breeze gently brushing against their faces, Liam turned to Emma with a smile. "I've been thinking," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "This past year has been a whirlwind, and I've realized something important. It's not about what I've built or how much I've achieved. What matters is who I've become along the way, and who I've been lucky enough to share this journey with." Emma felt a lump in her throat as she looked at him. "Liam, she began, but her words trailed off. She had been so focused on supporting him, on standing by his side through the challenges, that she hadn't fully processed how much their relationship had grown. Liam continued, gently squeezing her hand. "I don't need to be perfect anymore. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. All I need is you and Noah. I'm finally understanding what really matters: being present, being there for the people I love." Emma smiled softly, her heart swelling with emotion. "I feel the same way. I never imagined that our lives would change so much. But here we are, and it feels like it's exactly where we're meant to be." As they sat down on the beach, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore, they both took a moment to appreciate the quiet peace between them. They had come through so much together, and now they were stronger than ever. Their bond was no longer just about overcoming obstacles. It was about living fully in the moments they shared. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Liam turned to Emma once more. "I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I want to face it with you," he said. Emma's heart skipped a beat. "I want that too," she replied, her voice filled with certainty. They both knew that life would continue to bring challenges, but as long as they had each other, they could face anything that came their way. The future was still uncertain, but in that moment, it didn't matter. Together, they had everything they needed to build a life that was full of love, purpose, and the promise of brighter days ahead. Asterisk, asterisk, she let him sit at her table, in a crowded cafe. She had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Life had settled into a peaceful rhythm for Liam and Emma. The pressures of Liam's business and the charity were no longer as overwhelming, and he was finding a new balance. He was spending more time with Noah, and his bond with Emma was stronger than ever. They had weathered many storms together, but now, it seemed like their biggest challenge was learning how to truly embrace the calm and enjoy the moments of peace they had worked so hard for. One afternoon, as they sat in the living room of Liam's apartment, the weight of the world felt far away. Noah was at school, and Emma and Liam had the day to themselves. It was rare, and they both savored the quiet. "I've been thinking," Liam began, breaking the silence. "We've come so far, from all the chaos, all the uncertainty, and now, here we are together, with a future ahead of us. I can't help but feel grateful for everything we've built." Emma smiled softly, her eyes meeting his. "It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. I never imagined I'd be here, in this place, with you. But I wouldn't change a thing." Liam took a deep breath, his gaze serious now. "There's something I want to ask you, something that's been on my mind for a while." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She had no idea where this was going, but she could feel the gravity of his words. "What is it?" she asked, her voice steady, though her pulse quickened. Liam reached for her hand, holding it gently in his. "I want to take the next step with you, Emma. I want to build a life together, one where we're not just surviving but thriving. I want you to be my partner, not just in business, but in everything." Emma's breath caught in her throat. Her mind raced, but her heart already knew the answer. She had never felt more certain about anything in her life. "Liam," she started, her voice trembling with emotion. "You don't have to ask. I'm already here, and I always will be. Whatever comes next, I want to face it with you." Liam's eyes softened, and he smiled, the weight of his worries lifting for the moment. "I can't tell you how much that means to me," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You've been my anchor, Emma. You've shown me what truly matters: love, family, and the people who make life worth living. I want to be the man you deserve." Emma leaned in, her forehead resting gently against his. "You're already the man I deserve," she whispered. The moment stretched out, the world outside seeming to fade away as they held each other in quiet contentment. It wasn't about grand gestures or dramatic declarations, it was about the simple, quiet moments they shared, knowing that they were in this together. As the evening drew closer, Liam and Emma made plans for the future. They talked about traveling, about growing their lives together, and about what they wanted for Noah. They had learned that life wasn't about perfection, but about building something meaningful, step by step. The next chapter wasn't about fixing problems or fighting battles, it was about cherishing the love they had found and building something even more beautiful. As Liam walked Emma to the door that evening, he looked at her with a sense of peace he had never known before. "Thank you," he said, his voice soft, "for everything. For loving me, for loving Noah, for making me believe in the possibility of a future." Emma smiled, her heart full. "I love you, Liam, and I always will." As she left his apartment that night, Emma felt a sense of calm and excitement wash over her. The future was uncertain, but with Liam by her side, she knew they could face anything. Together, they would build the life they had always dreamed of, a life of love, hope, and endless possibilities. Asterisk, asterisk. She let him sit at her table, in a crowded cafe. She had no idea he was a millionaire single father. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. The journey that Liam and Emma had embarked on together was far from simple, but as they stood at the precipice of their future, They both understood that their shared commitment had led them to this beautiful, peaceful moment. They had fought through the struggles of business challenges, personal insecurities, and the pressures of parenthood, but together, they had triumphed. Their love had become a source of strength, and they were now ready to build a life centered on each other, with Noah at the heart of it all. In the months that followed, they continued to grow closer. Liam had learned the importance of balance, of stepping back when necessary, and letting others take the lead. He now understood that his worth was not defined by the success of his business or the achievements he had made. It was about the relationships he nurtured and the love he gave and received. Emma, too, had discovered her own strength. She had always been a fighter, but now she knew that true strength came from vulnerability, from trusting others, and allowing herself to be supported. Together, they had built something stronger than either had imagined, a partnership grounded in love, respect, and shared purpose. As the summer came to a close, they decided it was time for a fresh start. Liam had decided to take a step back from some of the more overwhelming responsibilities in his company, entrusting capable hands to lead, while he focused more on his family and Emma. They also took the next step in their relationship, buying a house together, a place where they could finally put down roots and create a home for themselves and for Noah. Moving into their new house felt like the culmination of everything they had worked for. It was a place of peace, a sanctuary where they could escape the world and simply be. They filled it with warmth, with laughter, and with memories that would last a lifetime. Their days were spent enjoying the simple pleasures: morning coffee together, walks in the park, and quiet evenings at home, just the three of them. Liam continued his work with the charity, but now he did so with a renewed sense of purpose. He had learned to trust others with the organization's operations, allowing him the time and space to focus on his family. Emma, too, was more involved, supporting him in his efforts and using her skills to help expand the charity's reach. Noah, now growing older, flourished in the environment of love and stability his father and Emma had worked so hard to provide. He thrived in school, surrounded by the love and encouragement of two people who truly believed in him. As the seasons changed, so did the rhythms of their life. But no matter what came their way, they knew that they had built something worth fighting for: a family, a love, and a life filled with meaning. And so, as they sat together on the porch one evening, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Liam looked at Emma and Noah, a content smile on his face. "This," he said softly, "this is everything I ever wanted. I've got my family, my future, and the love that will carry us through anything. I couldn't ask for more." Emma took his hand, squeezing it tightly. "We've got everything we need, Liam, together." And as the stars began to appear in the sky, they knew that whatever challenges the future held, they would face them with the same love and unity that had brought them this far. They had found what truly mattered: their love, their family, and the promise of a life built on trust, support, and unwavering commitment. Their journey together was just beginning, and the possibilities were endless. In this captivating story of love, struggle, and triumph, follow the journey of a hardworking woman and a millionaire businessman as they navigate the complexities of life, love, and parenthood. Their paths cross in an unexpected and heartwarming way, bringing together two people from different worlds. As they face the challenges of balancing a business empire, a thriving charity, and the responsibilities of raising a child, their bond deepens, showing how love can transform even the most difficult circumstances. In this story, they learn the importance of vulnerability, trust, and the strength that comes from supporting one another. This is one of the many millionaire stories that showcase the transformative power of love and connection. From a crowded cafe to a quiet life built on love, this millionaire story proves that true happiness is found in the moments shared with the ones we love. Experience a tale that exemplifies the reality behind many millionaire stories, showing that no amount of wealth can replace the love and joy found in a strong family and meaningful relationships. Join Emma and Liam on this journey as they discover that, no matter the challenges ahead, their love will always guide them through. If you're a fan of millionaire stories that capture the essence of life's true treasures, this heartwarming tale will leave you inspired and hopeful for the future.